Hi everybody, thanks for being here today on our next video here. Today what we're going to be doing is transplanting our marigolds from our seed starter cells into a little bit larger of a container, and they'll more than likely stay in here until we're ready to transplant out in the garden. If you remember a few videos back, we started these from seed and they have just flourished beautifully, but they're starting to, get a little too big for the current containers that they're in. So what we're going to do today, like I said, is transplant these. To do this, I am using Whitney Farms organic potting soil. And then I've got, like in the past, I've got my little dollar store cake pan basin here already filled with water, and I've added the soil to it. So I'm gonna blend that up really well, and then I'll fill our seeds here, or our seed cells, and then we'll go from there. One of the main reasons that I want to be sure that I'm transplanting these is because when we initially sowed our seeds, I'm gonna pick one up here and show you guys. I'm not sure if you're really able to see here, but there's about 2 in each cell pack. So I want to be sure that they're separated so that each seedling here isn't vying for the nutrients and space from the other one there. So giving them their own room to grow and do their thing so that, they'll grow and look beautiful and flourish with beautiful blooms in this upcoming spring here that we're just a few weeks short from, and throughout the summer growing season. Once I get these all separated and transplanted, the cell packs here still fit into the main seedling tray here, but I also I've got a little bit of a setup here, this here, but I have my bookshelf here, and I have this, again, close to the window so we get some great lighting here. And again, I'll be moving my grow lights as needed with these as well. On my seeds table here, you can see I have multiple things going here. My petunias, those are still coming along. They're much smaller seeds. They're taking a little bit more time, but they're coming along great. We've got my onions, some tomatoes, lettuce. You can see the pumpkin is just doing its thing here, and some bell peppers. So again, watch for future videos when we are moving these ones around as well. And then we still have stuff that we are going to be starting, obviously not in this video today, but in a future video. We still have plenty more things to get started for our spring, summer growing season. So let's dive in over here. Here, I'm gonna start mixing the soil here with our water. But as a reminder, before we get started, if you are enjoying what we're doing here today, please be sure to hit that like, subscribe with notifications, and just want to give a quick shout out to my man, Doug. Thanks for watching, Doug. Be sure you're, sticking here with us. But like I said, we are going to be adding just a little bit more water here. We don't want this soaking wet, but just damp enough for these roots to kind of, take. So we're just gonna blend all of this in here. Hey, just before we get started here, I just wanted to mention, if you like what we're doing here today and you wanna get a shout out, be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and comment down below, #WeCanGarden, and hit your shout out there. But what we're gonna be doing here is I'm gonna start filling my seed trays here, and I'm not gonna fill them all the way through because I also have to keep room for my little seeds here. So I'm just gonna put some of the soil in here, kind of compressing that down. And what's great about these is, I'm not sure if we can get a shot from the bottom here. There are all these drainage holes. You want great drainage. That way, again, those seeds don't get waterlogged. I had watered these yesterday just to kind of get them in preparation for the transplant, because you don't want them to get too shocked. They're all going to go through like a little period of shock as you transplant. Do that, and then voila. We'll just grab one of these here. I'm just going to get started popping these out. Spoon here just to kind of help scoop them up. ever so gentle with these guys. They're so fragile right now. And since I have 2 here, so I'm just gonna separate those. Look at how long those roots are. That looks just lovely if you're able to see those roots there. And then we're just gonna plop that guy right into the center there. And we're just gonna fill that in with the soil. Just tuck them in ever so nicely. So I was counting through these the other day. I have 132 marigolds, which I'm really excited about because, again, marigolds bring a lot, and this is the African variety. So again, these are gonna be orange, red, yellow, but these are gonna help bring in those pollinators. And once we get our vegetables out there, we want those pollinators in the yard, bringing that pollination to get our vegetables off to a great start so we have bountiful harvests. Because I'm really hoping we have wonderful, wonderful harvest. Because again, you can't get any more organic than this as far as growing your own food, going out to the yard, harvesting something to add to the table for a nightly meal. I mean, it's fantastic. I'm just gonna tuck these guys in here. And I'm probably gonna just, fill this in maybe a little bit more than what I actually need, but I want to be sure that it's pressed down in there and it has a good, sturdy support there. La la. So we are all done separating and repotting or potting up our marigolds. Like I said, I have 132 total. And as you can see, this pack holds 6 each. So I have them here. I have them in just different various areas here in my dining room grow area. Obviously, I'm gonna, as the rest of the stuff goes, change a few things here, but a couple of things that I did want to go over is I had already pre-moistened the soil. So could I water them in a little bit? Yes, I could. And then when you do water, even on a regular basis, once the soil does dry out, it's best to not water from the top, but to water from the bottom. So you can just kind of scooch. You got a little bit of space here. You can fill the space here with water and let the water absorb from the bottom up. That's gonna help those roots go further down and absorb that water, making those roots kind of work for their water and get a stronger root system established. Yeah, you could water from the top, but watering from the top does a couple things. You can get your leaves wet, and that can cause, like a fungus. You could even get dampening off fungus. So basically, if you're consistently watering from the top, it's not drying out, you can end up getting, especially if you're overwatered, like a fungus, almost like a mold per type on top. So there are various ways to treat that. A little sprinkle of cinnamon. You can kind of use a little spoon to scoop it out and replenish that. But the best way to do it is just watering from the bottom, I have found personally. But leave in the comments section if you have or have not dealt with dampening off issues with your seedlings here. Again, like I mentioned, at this point, I should be good until I transplant these out in my yard. So these are now their home until we reach past our last frost date, which is anticipated for April 1st. But I do give those a couple weeks after that point just to be certain that we're okay being in zone 8B. Never know, that can change things up. The other thing is I still have my grow lights, so I will be putting these back, and I have a few of the grow lights here, and I already have one tray of the marigolds under there. So again, gonna keep these under my grow lights so they continue to grow. And of course, last but not least, please be sure that you are labeling your seedlings. I did in this tray here, move them in with the petunias. It's pretty evident what is what, but as things continue to progress, you definitely don't want to confuse what you're growing. So I will be adding my labels to those extra ones as well. Get everything off to a great start here. And it did take a little, you know, I was kind of hoping within a half hour's time. It ended up taking me about an hour, a little bit over, to separate everything out. I did use, and I don't know if you noticed when I first started doing this, I used a spoon to help scoop the seedlings out of the little mini seed cell starters, just because it's a gentler way to scoop it out using that versus like my finger poking it through the bottom. Well, there wasn't much room for me to poke through the bottom, but I wanted to be as gentle as possible, not to really disturb the root system as we're going and transplanting. And again, some of these are gonna look a little on the wilty side despite watering yesterday in preparation for the transplant, just because I disturbed them from where they were, and now they have to reestablish in a new setting. So if you're doing this at home as well, don't be alarmed if you see your seedlings kind of look a little wilted after. That is okay, that is normal. Give them a couple of days and they're going to bounce back, and better than ever, because now they have more room for their roots. At this point, using a potting soil, initially planted in just a straight, sterile, organic seed mix. There's not a whole lot in there. Now with the potting soil, there are nutrients in here that are going to help the seedlings get, you know, their nutrition, which didn't have in the other mix there, because as they come up, they're gonna get everything through that seed and those initial leaves. Well, now we're past our true leaves. We wanna be sure that these are established with great nutrients. And as marigolds go, quite frankly, do they need to be fertilized or anything like that? No, they're pretty easygoing, but anything to do to kind of help keep them bright, healthy, beautiful, so that that ultimate goal is a beautiful yard with wonderful, wonderful colors in the spring and summer. Again, leave any comments in the comment section below on if there's anything else you'd like to see, you have any tips or tricks, something that I didn't go over that I might have missed today. Add that in there. All right, and again, if you want that shout out, be sure to hit that in that comment section as well. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Hope you guys have a great weekend. See you on the next video.